Brothers and sisters around the world, my name is Dr. Glenn T. Martin. I'm president of the World Constitution and Parliament Association, and we have a message having to do with the global pandemic that now is devastating the earth. The COVID-19 pandemic is an historic threat to the entire world. Nuclear weapons and climate change were also such threats and still are, but people managed to ignore them because they were not immediate and obvious. But the global pandemic is immediate and obvious, affecting everyone on earth, regardless of country, regardless of race or religion, regardless of wealth or poverty. We are in a global emergency and a global economic and logistical collapse. Nations and health systems are in crisis. We must properly self-isolate. We must follow the best sanitation practices. We must avoid contact with others as much as possible because in doing so, we will be saving millions of lives ultimately if this thing can be controlled, if it doesn't keep spreading, and we might even be saving our own lives. There's much speculation that the COVID-19 virus originated in some bioweapons lab, whether in Canada, in the USA, or in China. This may or may not be the case, but what we are experiencing is a taste of what is in store for humanity if they keep researching these bioweapons, because this is exactly the kind of weapons that they are developing in these labs around the world. Can we stop this madness? Right? They continue to develop weapons around the world in nuclear weapon form too, weapons delivery systems and so on that could wipe out humanity. When are we going to wake up? When are we going to start acting like human beings? In the post-pandemic world, 1 year from now, do we want to go back to this same world system? The same corrupt politicians, the same militarized nation states struggling with one another for dominance and economic wealth and power, the same invasions, the same financing of terrorist organizations around the world for political purposes. It's an insane world order. And the fact of the matter is that we are all brothers and sisters. We're all the same. Indeed, right now in India, Swami Yagnovich, who is one of our vice presidents, has called for a new Arya Samaj, that is a new awakening, moral awakening that people can sign on to that will be the seeds of a new world civilization after the pandemic has ended. And it will have to include necessarily the ratification of the Constitution for the Federation of Earth. Right? The moral framework of a new world needs to be institutionalized. It's not enough to have some ideal like the UN Universal Declaration of Human Rights, an unenforceable ideal. We must institutionalize and join the world together in a democratic world system that does not abolish the nations but works for everybody. Right? That's we're reaching out to the non-aligned nations, especially in the poverty nations of the world, which is the majority of the nations in the world. Do you really want to go back to this horrible system in which you are marginalized? You are not the source of the coronavirus, but you are victims of it. And the poor nations are struggling just as much as the rich nations with this horrible pandemic. Let us come to our sanity as human beings. Let us come to a real realization that there is one moral principle. We're all brothers and sisters. We should be caring for one another and developing institutions that designed to work for everybody on the planet, work for a sustainable world without destroying the environment, work for a world without these weapons of mass destruction, with peace and justice and freedom for everyone. To do that, we need the synergy created by the Constitution for the Federation of Earth. So be safe and be the change you want to see in the world. May God bless us all. Thank you.